Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to talk about how the game communicates with Wwise. Obviously, if you're creating an interactive score, you need the game to provide data for that game, for the music to change. For instance, when the character goes from one location to another, or the health goes under a certain percentage, or an event happens within the game, like you kill a boss within the game, you want all that information to be passed over to Wwise. And so where you communicate with Wwise is kind of what I have shown here. Generally, we're working in the audio tab, which is where we have switches and we have interactive music engine stuff. But basically, the game syncs tab is where we start communicating back and forth to the game itself. And they are done through switches, states, game parameters, and triggers. And so let's go through each one of these. Let's go through triggers first. A trigger is kind of a one-off hit. So for instance, stingers are usually good for trigger elements. So if you defeat an enemy, then you might want to play a trigger. Or if you solve a puzzle, you might want to create a trigger for that. So let's create one here. You just right-click, new trigger, and let's call it solve puzzle. Now, you're just creating a way for the data to flow back and forth. We don't actually set up how these triggers communicate with our audio events until later, and that is done in a different section in a different tab. So right now we're just communicating a way to kind of get back and forth. Game parameters, we can have different kinds of game parameters. A parameter is basically a number. So instead of a trigger being thrown like I defeated the enemy or solved the puzzle, it is how far am I from the enemy? Or another one might be, let's create another game parameter called health. And that health parameter has a minimum and a maximum and what the default might be. So that's useful to, again, to transfer this information into our music engine over in the audio tab here. So what other kinds of things do we have? We have states. There are different kinds of states in the game, so they're categorized by state groups themselves. And so within the group we have a player state called battle, explore, suspense, but you could have another one. For instance, let's create another state group, which would be the enemy state. And within enemy, I might create some new states, one called hidden, another one called visible, another one called dead, I don't know. Alive might be another, however you want to go ahead and categorize this and interpret that by the interactive music structures that you have in the audio tab. And then lastly, we have switches. And switches are generally used by sound designers to switch between things like footsteps, and these are similar to states where you create a switch group and then create switches within that group. So in this one we have footsteps and concrete, dirt, and ice. And basically that's how we communicate back and forth to the game engine. There's one other place where we communicate back and forth to the game engine, and that's in the Events tab. And in the Events tab we can create events that do things that can be called by the game. For instance, one can be called Play Level 1 Music. An event can consist of one or more actions that are played out, and you can look and see there are a lot of different event actions that you can set. You can play a switch container, play a segment, you can stop something, you can mute something, change the volume of a voice, high and low pass filters, you can change a state if you wanted to. You can chain these elements in each one of these different events that are pre-set up. So for instance, I can go in here and go new. I'm going to create an empty event, and let's say it's to start the game. And in starting the game, I want to, for instance, so I can add actions over here. I can go ahead and set up a trigger, and I can browse for that trigger. So it's going to play the battle stinger, and then it's going to, then we're going to set a state. We're going to set a state. So the player state might be, oops, sorry. The state is set down here. So you select a state group, like the player state begins in Explorer, and then lastly we begin by playing our switch. And so I'll browse for our switch container. And that would be one event that's being triggered by the game when the game starts. So that describes game syncs, which includes switches, states, game parameters, and triggers, and events, which are called by the game to change various things about our music system. That's it.